And for the flag salute, following the flag salute, please remain standing for the moment of silence for Buena Park High School student Jonathan and La Habra High School student Sienna Merez. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jonathan was an excellent student and a wonderful asset to Buena Park High School. He began his high school career playing basketball and was a main contributor to the team's success in his first 3 years on the team. Jonathan's talent extended far beyond the court. He was an outstanding student and an artist, maintaining a 3.6 GPA, taking honors AP courses, and the past semester completing his first college course as part of BP Early College Academy. Whether it may be an agri-science program in the yearbook where he honored his photography skills or within his class, Jonathan was well liked and respected by his peers, teachers, and staff. Outside of school, he creatively explored music and fashion design. His loss is deeply felt by his friends, family, and Buena Park High School community, and all who had the privilege of knowing him. He will be truly missed. Sienna was a passionate reader and a writer with a dream of publishing at least one book by the time she was 24. She was a lover of Kit Kats and dreamer with plans to travel the world. She found solace in her favorite places on campus, morning in the library, breaks in the cafeteria booth, and lunches under the trees in the senior park. Her first job was a student worker in the cafeteria where she found meaningful connection with the staff. She also had a deep love for children, dedicating her free time to volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club and singing in the La Habra High School choir. Sierra was truly a go-getter, enriching the lives of all who knew her. Her vibrant presence will be missed. In her memory, Sienna's family has channeled their love and loss into action, raising $25,000 from the Boys and Girls Club with a goal of reaching $28,000. Their efforts honor her passion for giving back and ensuring her legacy continues to inspire others. Sympathy and support are offered to the family and friends of Jonathan and Sienna. Thank you. You can have a seat. Earlier tonight, the district staff conducted a study session on Measure L, and the board was unable to convene closed session. Closed session will now follow the conclusion of our regular meeting. Approval of minutes.
Dr. Calhoun, there's a public comment card.
Nico, please come to the podium for comment.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun, members of the board. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. I think it should be a fun evening. With regard to the agenda minutes, if you look at the minutes and you look at what's described by who said what as far as public comment, you'll notice a big difference between what's written for what I say versus what's written for what someone else says. So mine's like, he spoke about blank. Everyone else's is, he spoke about, et cetera, et cetera. So I went ahead and sent you guys emails on the 20th and 13th summarizing, my comments. So I brought them for you, and I'll just leave them here. So both meetings, summary of my comments for the board. That's all I have for this one. Thanks.
Thank you, Nico. Is there a motion to approve the minutes on December 10, 2024, and the December 17, 2024 board meeting? Okay. Any discussion? Noel, would you like to cast a preferential vote?
I approve.
Call for it. Mr. Zhang? Aye. Oh, all those in favor, sorry. Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, 4-0. Do board members have any correspondence they would like to share? I would like to invite Noelle to give her student board member report.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, members of the board, and distinguished guests. This will be my student board member report for the month of January. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back, and I hope you all had a relaxing and enjoyable winter break. It was much needed. As we leave behind 2024 and jump into the new year, our students and faculty are falling back into their weekly rhythms. Our ASBs are gearing up for a busy spring semester, and our seniors are looking forward to all their activities in their last semester of high school. Let's take a look at what's been going on at our FJUHSD schools before and after winter break. During the month of December, Troy's ASB hosted a holiday rally where nearly all of the senior class participated in one of Troy's favorite traditions, the annual elf dance, where seniors spent many rehearsals preparing a partner dance to perform at an assembly. Troy partnered with 4 local schools for their holiday toy drive, where they donated gifts to about 30 local children in need. Troy is also looking forward to their winter formal and winter formal rally themed Yule Ball, A Night in Hogwarts, which will be hosted in February. Sonora's ASB also worked hard through the month of December and through January. Before break, Sonora hosted a Spirit Week where they passed out hot cocoa and other fun treats to their student bodies. They will continue to give back to their student bodies during their upcoming Spirit Week as well. Sonora has been planning their winter sports assembly and their winter formal, which is taking place this Saturday, and are continuing to support their senior class by making posters for senior nights. La Habra filled their weeks of December with holiday activities such as their popular photo op with the Grinch and Santa, and student body give-backs where they passed out ice cream and cookies to their senior class. La Habra recently announced their winter formal theme of Masquerade Ball and are excited to see their vision come to life next month. La Habra's student body supported their basketball team for their first home game last Tuesday with a blackout-themed student section. Fullerton wrapped up their year by hosting junior high visits with students from Nicholas, Ladera Vista, and Beechwood. Their ASB welcomed 8th graders with a mini assembly, a program rush, and tours of their historic campus. Fullerton ended their year with winning Orange County Student Section's People's Choice Award 2 weeks in a row, being 2 of the 3 times Fullerton has received this award. Fullerton ASB is currently planning their International Food Festival Assembly, which aims to highlight all the different cultures on Fullerton's campus. Sunny Hills has been busy and recently held a Computer Science Education Week with over 80 students participating each day and with a guest speaker, Freya Zhang. Their ASB held a holiday banquet on the last day of the 2024 school year to celebrate the semester's end and are currently planning their International Food Festival as well. Additionally, the engineering students are working hard to prepare for the upcoming Skills USA competition. La Vista La Sierra spent the weeks before break getting their student bodies involved through holiday spirit weeks and interactive activities during break. The Teenage Parent Program put on an event for parents to dress up their babies and toddlers to take photos with Santa as well. The day before break, they had a piñata in their quad filled with holiday goodies for their student body and are currently advertising their Lunar New Year door decoration contests. Last but not least, to start off the school year strong, Buena Park's ASB hosted Theme Thursday in their quad, where in recognition of Lunar New Year's, Buena Park created a traditionally decorated poster for students to write their New Year's goals and resolutions. This past Friday, Buena Park's entire ASB supported the boys' varsity basketball team, pumping up the student section as they took down Westminster High School. Buena Park's ASB is jumping right back into rhythm by holding workshops every day after school to make their upcoming pep week a success. Thank you, and this concludes my board report for the month of January.
Thanks, Noelle. Okay, school reports. I would like to call on the superintendent to introduce the principals to give you their school reports.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. Members of the board, let's start with Mr. Caffrey, Fullerton High School.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin. Good evening, President Calhoun and members of the board. In less than 24 hours, our AVID program students collected animal donations for the fire victims in Los Angeles. These items were delivered to LA over the weekend, and they'll continue collecting donations this week, and we'll make another drop-off next weekend. Our ASB, led by Director Brooke Kerr, has had an amazing impact on our campus over the holiday season. Before the holiday break, we successfully collected and donated over 2,600 pounds of clothing. We will host a winter blood drive with the American Red Cross on January 22nd. And in February, we will hold a program fair to provide our current students with essential information about the diverse programs offered on our campus, helping them prepare for the upcoming registration season. Additionally, to celebrate the rich diversity within our student body, we are thrilled to host Fullerton's inaugural International Assembly on February 7th. Our athletic teams are rolling along. Wrestling has had a very successful season, recently capturing the FJUHSD duel in girls wrestling for the second year in a row. Our girls team also won the city championship. Coach Baxter and his staff have been working hard to get our girls team qualified for the CIF playoffs. We are thankful for the opportunity to wrestle against former Freeway League competitors. Boys and girls basketball are having great years so far. Our girls team is currently 2-0 in league. Coach Fitzsimons is doing an excellent job with our girls and pushing for a CIF playoff berth. Boys basketball has been on an amazing run, winning 10 games in a row before falling to league opponent Costa Mesa last week. Boys basketball is also in contention for a CIF playoff berth. Girls soccer is having another fantastic season. Second-year coach Maya Stera has led our girls to an 11-5-3 record and favored to win the league title. Our girls water polo team finished 7th out of 30 schools in their last tournament and are having a great year so far. We are benefiting from having our pool back and continuing to rebuild our programs. We look forward to our open house this week on Thursday, January 16th. We are excited to showcase our school and programs to future Fullerton Union High School students. Our event is in the gymnasium and starts at 6 p.m. We would love to see you all there. This week, we further strengthen our partnership with Ladera Vista Junior High by contacting Principal William Lynch about an interest survey for students and families regarding our dual language academy. We have requested that survey be distributed this week to help us gauge interest for the program for the 25-26 school year. We will be hosting the annual CETA Festival on our campus this upcoming weekend. It is a wonderful event and a great opportunity to show off our amazing school while we have hundreds of students from outside Fullerton on our campus. We are thankful to the district for allowing us to continue to host this wonderful event every year. Our Academy of the Arts has completed its casting for Mamma Mia, and rehearsals have begun. First-year teacher Jacqueline Stickle is doing an amazing job this year, and we anticipate another wonderful spring performance. Dates for the spring play are March 7th through the 14th. This concludes the Fullerton Union High School report for January. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caffrey. From Buena Park High School, Dr. Berg.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, and members of the board. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a nice holiday break. I'd like to spend some time here tonight recognizing a handful of students for a variety of different accolades. First is Emily Talavera, who is our FFA president, and she was selected as one of 75 students statewide to be part of the Sacramento Leadership Conference. So it's a 4-day conference up in the state capitol, so that'll be fun for her. Second is Mia Gonzalez, who has committed to Bethune-Cookman University. We had a ceremony for her recently, and she is the highest recruited softball athlete coming out of Buena Park High School, and so we are excited for her to continue her playing career next year. Speaking of continuing their playing careers, Eric Conriquez is the next boys soccer player to commit to playing next year. He'll be playing at Hope International University. So yes, that's right down the street. So that'll be fun for his friends to be able to see him continue to compete at the next level. And I just learned yesterday that Hannah Fuentes, part of our amazing girls basketball team, was offered by Pratt University in New York. So that should be fun for her. And not to be outdone, we have 2 more girls basketball seniors who have multiple offers to play next year. But first, they happen to both be crossing major milestones tonight in their game, and this just happened within the last hour. So congratulations to Maya Barnes, who in her first bucket tonight, she crossed the 1,000th point total for her career. And then, which is an amazing accomplishment, but not to be outdone, she gets to share the night with Gloria Barrera, who with her 10th point tonight crosses the 2,000th point mark for her career. So amazing athletes, and great for them. They're going to have signed balls and all kinds of cool stuff going on at the game. We are excited for open house, which is next Wednesday. So for those of you that will be coming, it will be a super fun evening. And then on a more somber note, to close my report, I'd like to thank the district staff, Orange County Department of Ed, my own counselors, and wellness specialists, and my staff, my teachers, obviously for the support as we came back to school last Monday following the death of one of our students over break. Whenever there's a passing of a staff member or student, it's obviously a pretty big emotional toll on the site, with students and staff coping with the loss while still needing to move forward and continuing with their school and their programs. And so I'm so proud of the support that I got from our district and the resiliency in our community. Our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to the Pineda family and those directly affected by the loss. So thank you, and that concludes my January report.
Thank you, Dr. Berg. From Sonora High School, Mr. Cazares.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, and members of the board. The start of a new calendar year is always an exciting time at Sonora High School. After 2 weeks of much-needed rest and rejuvenation, our students and staff returned to campus recharged and ready to engage in learning and connection. The break provided a valuable opportunity for everyone to spend meaningful time with loved ones, reset priorities, and refocus their energies for the semester ahead. Upon returning, the halls were filled with renewed energy, stories of holiday moments, and a strong sense of community. Last Thursday, we hosted our highly anticipated annual open house. This event serves as a cornerstone of our commitment to fostering community engagement and welcoming prospective students and their families to explore all that Sonora High School has to offer. It was inspiring to see so many families visiting the campus, meeting our dedicated teachers, and discovering the programs, clubs, and activities that make Sonora unique. The evening emphasized a couple of key themes. Number one, building connections. Families were able to interact with current students, staff, and even alumni who shared their personal stories about why Sonora is a special place to learn and grow. Secondly, sharing our culture through showcases by our IB and honors program, student performances, displays highlighting our various departments and programs, athletics, and academic achievements. We celebrated the vibrant and inclusive spirit of Sonora. We are also in the heart of our winter athletics season, where our Raiders are making us proud across the board. Girls soccer is enjoying a phenomenal season with a 13-2-2 record, leading the North Hills League. They are powered by senior forward Sophie Forrester, who will continue her soccer journey at Iowa State University this fall. Boys soccer continues to impress, holding a 9-3-3 record and showcasing competitive performances in each match. Their defensive strength is anchored by Captain Mark Rocklitz, whose leadership has been invaluable. Boys and girls basketball are battling hard with the Lady Raiders firmly in the league championship hunt. I also want to highlight Coach Melissa Barajas, who earned her 400th victory over the break, for which we are very proud. The boys are grinding out critical victories as they work tirelessly to secure a playoff spot. Girls water polo brings unmatched energy and positivity to the winter season. Thanks to the uplifting leadership of Miranda Fuentes and Samantha Myers, this team consistently supports and inspires each other in and out of the pool. Wrestling continues its legacy of excellence. A special congratulations to our boys wrestling team, which dominated the district dual championships, outscoring opponents 370-21 to claim the title. Girls wrestling team also performed exceptionally well, earning a strong second place finish in the same competition. The success of our athletes and teams is a testament to their hard work, dedication, and unwavering support of our coaches and Raider community. As we move forward in the semester, we will remain focused on delivering high-quality educational experiences, fostering a positive school culture, and building upon the strong foundation of trust and collaboration within our school community. As we are currently in Board Appreciation Month, I would like to say thank you to all of you for your continued support of Sonora High School and our school community. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cazares. From La Habra High School, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, members of the board. The Highlanders have returned, rejuvenated after a well-deserved break, and we extend a heartfelt New Year's wishes to each of you. We sincerely appreciate your moment of silence today for Sienna Maras during this evening's board meeting. Grieving's never easy, and supporting our students, staff, and Sienna's family during this difficult time has been our top priority. I would like to also express my gratitude to those who have provided their unwavering support. Special thanks to our mental health specialist, Mrs. Elizabeth Leal, for planning and organizing resources and joining me in meeting with our teachers and the students across her classes to help make sense of the classmate who has passed away. Also to my fellow principals for sharing their mental health specialists in helping us meet the need of the number of students to help process their emotions. to OCDE and the Crisis Network for their support and their immediate response, to Alan Witten and our cabinet for their constant check-ins to ensure that we had everything we needed, and to the entire La Habra community, including our political leaders, our feeder school leaders, and families who have shown incredible solidarity. This has once again demonstrated that there's truly no better place to be than La Habra High School. We're also preparing to host our open house on Thursday, January 23rd. This collaborative event involves our academies, our programs, our departments, and will offer prospective students and their families an inviting glimpse into the rich and diverse opportunities available to our future Highlanders. Finally, we are thrilled to share that last week we celebrated a historic moment in Highlander athletics. In front of a sold-out crowd, we raised the 2024 Boys CIF Championship banner to hang in the gym, commemorating our first CIF championship in that sport. The event was later highlighted by an unforgettable buzzer-beater victory over private school power Crean Lutheran as Asian Jimenez hit the game-winning shot to end the game. It is looking to be another exciting winter for 2025. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. From La Vista La Sierra Schools, Mrs. Leona.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, members of the board. The new semester is a time for big change in the Lion Pride. First, as the district's continuation alternative high school, La Vista La Sierra has the unique ability to allow students to graduate as soon as they complete their high school credits. We had 13 students from La Vista and the iSierra Online Academy graduate at the end of first quarter, and an additional 23 students graduate at the semester. So between the two schools, we have 36 high school graduates who are already out there in the world making an early start in their post-secondary and vocational placements. The other big change at the semester is the movement of students between La Vista La Sierra and their home schools. Although many of our students who caught up on credits have chosen to stay, we did have 66 students return to their comprehensive high schools last week. We now have a whole new group of students starting their journey to restore their credits at La Vista and the La Sierra Opportunity Program. As always, we are rejuvenated to start our work with these newest Lions and help them make better choices, focus on their goals, earn all their credits, and learn. Finally, all of our graduates and homeschool returners were asked to take an exit survey on their last day of attendance, and their responses were lovely. I will conclude my report by sharing one of the responses. When asked what helped them turn things around at La Vista La Sierra, one student said, "When I was struggling with staying motivated, my teachers took the time to have a conversation with me and to dive deeper into what was causing this feeling. This made me feel heard because they didn't just focus on my academics, they also showed that they cared about my personal well-being." Thank you, and that concludes the La Vista La Sierra report.
Thank you, Mrs. Leona. From Troy High School, Dr. Minster.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, and members of the board. We are excited coming back from winter break, picking up where we left off as we start the second half of the year and the beginning of our spring semester. I hope everyone returned to school rested, relaxed, and ready to go. Last Saturday was the first testing opportunity for 8th grade students seeking to join the Troy Tech Magnet program in the fall, including our Honors AP, International Baccalaureate, and Cambridge courses. We have 2 more opportunities for current 8th graders to test, this Saturday, January 18th, and next Saturday, January 25th. Students should arrive no later than 7:30 a.m. We are also excited about our open house tomorrow night. Open house begins at 6 o'clock in the North Gym. There are programs in several locations on campus, including performing arts, 400, 500 buildings, and the quad. There's also a student panel, which is outstanding. This is always a great night to be able to speak with teachers and see what Troy has to offer our students and a tour of the campus. It will run until 7:30 p.m. In athletics, we are well into our winter season, and we are proud of our teams. Wrestling is off to a strong start, beating Pacifica in our first league match. Girls water polo is doing well, winning their first league match and are 7-5 overall. Girls soccer are Division 1, 2-0 in league, 7-2 overall. Boys soccer is playing well, winning, tying, and losing close games, 7-4-5 overall and 0-2-1 in league. Over winter break, our girls basketball team is playing much better and have won 6 of their last 7 games, including a tournament in Northern California over winter break. And last but not least, it is early, but we are starting to hear about where our 2025 graduates will be going to college next year. Cal State University admissions are strong, with our students being accepted by virtually all the Cal States. We are still waiting on the UCs. We have also have students that have been accepted to MIT, 2 of them, Brown, Stanford, Fordham University, Chapman University for Film, University of Oregon, University of Arizona, UNLV, Cornell, 2, Harvard, Northeastern. To the service academies, we also have 3 students currently accepted. Eileen has a choice of either U.S. Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy. Jolly Yang is accepted to West Point, and Isaac Yang is accepted to the Air Force Academy. And regarding service academies, we are waiting on 11 more students, and we will know soon. It is going to be a great spring. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Minster. From Sunny Hills High School, Mr. Weinrich.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin. Good evening, President Calhoun and members of the board, and Happy New Year to everyone. Sunny Hills is proud to celebrate our Gold Varsity League of Legends esports team featuring players Seungju Lee, Seungyu Jung, Andrew Jang, Eugene Kwan, Sengyuk Lee, and subs Yunu Jung and Chaeyoung Kim. This team won the NASEF California Fall Open Championship on December 16th, defeating Fountain Valley 2-1 after coming back to win 2 straight after losing in the first round. Their teamwork and resilience secured them the championship title in an exciting finish. Also, the Sunny Hills Valorant Gold Varsity team earned a spot in the Tier 1 premiere for the 2025 season of HCEL, with a chance to play in the HCEL Valorant's Nationals tournament. The team finished in impressive second place in the West Coast Fall Majors in the Tier 2 this season. Players Nathaniel Mitri, Alex Dang, Elijah Lee, and RJ Andrada, Travis McCovery, and Austin Kim showcased excellent teamwork and skill throughout the competition. A big congratulations goes out to our esports coach, Sonia Joyce, for all of her hard work with these teams. We look forward to the upcoming spring season and seeing what our players can achieve in CIF. Speaking of computer science at Sunny Hills, we're excited that we found out that our coding and gaming program applied for and received the Golden State Pathways Program Grant for $500,000. These monies will help provide our program with additional resources to promote this high-wage, high-skill, high-growth pathway to better allow our Lancers to advance seamlessly from Sunny Hills into a myriad of college and career opportunities. Lancer Winter Athletics continues to roll along successfully into the new year in their new leagues. Boys basketball holds an overall 15-7 record as Coach Oak looks to hold on to first place in their league. Girls basketball face a tough league schedule, but Coach Bien's team already has 14 wins overall. And Coach Allgaier's girls soccer team is off to a great start at 13-4-2. Wrestling earned a big win in their first league match of the year and is hungry for more. And meanwhile, boys soccer and girls water polo also head into league play on high notes with great opportunities to advance to CIF. Finally, as Sunny Hills moves closer to our open house, which is next Tuesday night, we've hosted numerous tours of prospective students and their families each Friday. It's been amazing to see large groups of students from both within our district boundaries and outside taking an interest in the breadth of educational opportunities available on the Hills. Additionally, I want to thank our Link crew and ASB advisors, Lindsay Safe and David Fenstermaker, along with their amazing students for organizing and hosting 2 large groups of 8th graders from both Fissler and Parks for preview days recently. It was great to show off the campus and allow these students to preview the outstanding programs available to them next year. Thank you, and this concludes the Lancer Report.
Thank you, Mr. Weinrich. Dr. Calhoun?
7.7, is there any information that the board members would like to share?
I wanted to comment on I wanted to thank you, I wanted to thank you again for your reports. I was remembering Dr. Minster's play-by-play of that one athletic competition, but I kind of expected Mr. Garcia to do the same. Didn't you have a really exciting basketball game that was won at the last minute? And you were in 2 players had their pictures in the Orange County Register today, so I was expecting a play, but I'm very disappointed about that.
I am sorry I let you down. Next time.
And also, I was watching a soccer game that ended earlier between Sonora and Sunny Hills, and it was a tie, so I can mention that since it was a tie. And what is the festival, Mr. Caffrey, on Saturday?
It's in February, so it's like an international.
Oh, it's coming up, okay.
Yeah, it's not till February. So
Okay.
celebrating the cultures of the campus.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Does any of the board have any information you'd like to share? Would you like to share any information, Dr. Superintendent? Okay. 8.1, Employee Association. At this time, we will hear from our Employee Association. I would like to invite FSTO President Angie Sinkak to the podium to give an update.
Good evening, President Calhoun, trustees, and Dr. McLaughlin. And happy 2025 to all. I hope everybody had a opportunity to rest, relax, and reset. As we all well know, the calendar year marks no real significance to our members and our certificated staff. We have been busy since August, and some even earlier than that, to have a productive school year and prepare for a successful 10 months. Here we are in January, looking forward to the end of another school year in just a few coming weeks. And as my dear friend Kathy Silvas used to tell me, count Mondays, not days, makes it go faster. Our FSTO negotiating team met yesterday to begin the process of organizing and collecting information to prepare for negotiating sessions with our district counterparts. We are going to try a new bargaining technique this year, a guest seat on our team. Our returning 4 members consist of our chairperson, Mike Reed from Troy High School, Joe D'Amelia from Sonora High School, Becky Villegas from La Sierra High School, and Magdalena Villalba from Fullerton High School. The president is involved in the negotiation process in a different manner and is a non-voting member of the team. This allows for conversations and considerations outside the negotiating process that are not in violation of negotiating rules of conduct. This year, our 5th seat will be filled by a guest negotiator who has knowledge of a particular issue we are negotiating on during the process of meeting and coming to an agreement for both parties. The team has selected 5 additional members who will work with us when needed, and those names will be communicated to you all as soon as they accept the position. Each one has been notified by our chairperson, and we are still awaiting a few responses. FSTO is preparing to sunshine our collective bargaining process during the February Board of Trustees meeting. Our new Educator Mentor Program is entering its final semester. As you may recall, FSTO was given the opportunity to create this program with funding from the National Education Association. We currently have 35 new educators being mentored by 33 of our amazing veteran teachers in our district and on all 8 campuses. I am looking forward to seeing how many of our newest certificated employees we get that will be able to move on to probationary status and how many more we get to welcome as permanent certificated teachers in the coming weeks. We are equally busy with upcoming conferences and meetings this semester. The CTA Issues Conference is taking place this weekend in Las Vegas. Amanda Gieser, Magdalena Villalba, and I will also be attending the State Council of Education meeting the last weekend in January. We look forward to reporting to you any pertinent information that we learn at our conferences. Other upcoming conferences for FSTO include the New Educator Conference for those members who are new to teaching, the Equity and Human Rights Conference, and the Good Teaching Conference South. And finally, FSTO has partnered with our other North Orange County United Teachers Association members to host an informational session with CalSTRS. With the early retirement incentive that was offered to our teachers, we are excited to offer this session with a STRS representative to help our members understand the complexities of retirement planning. Our first meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 29th at Commonwealth Elementary School in partnership with Fullerton Elementary Teachers Associations. We have 82 members in all 5 associations who have said they will be attending that meeting day. Other meetings will be held February 2nd and February 26th at our no-cut offices so our teachers, again, can learn a little bit more about retirement planning. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Diana will be giving an update on behalf of the CSE for President Joni Best.
Good evening, Dr. McLaughlin, President Calhoun, and members of the board. I would like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. As I shared last month, the CSEA 2025 Executive Board is as follows. An installation of officers took place via Zoom on January 13th. President Joni Best. First VP, Charlene Rodriguez. Second VP, vacant. Secretary, Candace Rodriguez. Communication, Jonathan Stevens. Treasurer, Marina Devine. The Executive Board is still in the process of filling the position of second VP. We are hopeful at our general meeting tomorrow we will have our new second VP. On January 22nd, Marina and I attended the governor's workshop with other district administration and FSTO representatives. CSEA looks forward to the information that will be presented. I am providing you with an update on our negotiation process. I am currently in the process of selecting our negotiating team, and we are surveying our members to identify their wants and needs. This information will help us prepare our initial proposal for the district. CSEA is collaborating with HR management to partner with a job shadow schedule from February 24th through February 28th, 2025. The plan is to have management shadow and show their appreciation for classified employees during this week. CSEA continues to develop a strong positive relationship with the district, and I look forward to continuing that relationship through the monthly meetings with Dr. McLaughlin and Dr. Atkinson. Thank you for your time, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Deanna. 8.2. Next, we would hear from our PTA Association. I would like to invite the Fullerton Council PTA to the podium to give an update. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. McLaughlin, President and Dr. Calhoun, and members of the board. My name is Nivi Jawar, and I continue to have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Vice President of Fullerton Council PTA. First, let me begin by saying that we in PTA are incredibly saddened by the recent events in our neighboring LA communities, and our hearts go out to all who have been, continue to be, or will be affected by the fires and destruction they have caused. Currently, on the California State PTA website, which is capta.org, there are tips for helping our children cope with the recent wildfires. Fullerton Council is also exploring opportunities to offer our support and will keep you informed should definite plans materialize. While PTA units at our various schools have sadly come to the conclusion that our much-anticipated winter holiday break is over, many units have already hit the ground running and are already planning activities for our late winter and spring seasons. We at Fullerton Council are looking at organizing a financial workshop for our units to discuss the importance of budgets, go over the budget process, and review how to complete some of the required financial forms. This will likely be held the last week of January, and further information will be sent out to our units. Of course, all of our high school PTSA units are gearing up for our big open house events that will be held or have already been held at each of our school sites. We are ready to welcome prospective parents and students onto our campuses and will offer our support by answering questions about our experiences and will help parents navigate the overload of programs, activities, and sports information that they will receive. I know each PTSA unit is extremely proud of their school site and will do their best to help parents and students make the right decision for their student. Our unit membership campaigns continue at each of our school sites. As of today, we have a total of 4,205 members across all of our schools. It's still not too late to join your local unit, or as I have said in the past, multiple units. I continue to encourage all of our parents as well to join. And remember, just because you join PTA does not mean we are going to put you in charge of a committee. We need your membership dollars so that we can put them to good use on all of our campuses to enrich the experiences of our students. Our PTA Arts Reflections program continues, and the 4th District Reflections Gallery will be held on February 1st from 12 to 3 p.m. at the Orange County Department of Education in Costa Mesa. We are hopeful that some of our talented students will be moving on to the next level, which would be the California state level. We have not heard anything yet, but we'll definitely keep you posted of any exciting progress. A reminder to our high school seniors that our Fullerton Council PTA scholarship will soon be available. Further information and the application will be posted on our council website, www.fullertoncouncilpta.org. Next month, I will be able to give you specific dates, but I encourage all seniors to apply. Scholarships will be awarded at our April luncheon, and we look forward to awarding deserving seniors with some much-needed money. In addition, I encourage our seniors to check with their individual school PTSA unit, as many of them also offer scholarship opportunities. A reminder that our council meetings are held in this very room the 4th Tuesday of each month at 9:30 a.m., and our next meeting is coming up on January 21st. Feel free to reach out to us at any time at fullertoncouncilptainfo@gmail.com, and we're always happy to hear from you. On behalf of your Fullerton Council PTA, let me also wish you all a very happy, safe, and successful 2025. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. I would like to invite Assistant Superintendent of Education Assessment Service, Dr. Sylvia Kaufman, to introduce the new ROP manager.
President Calhoun, members of the board, and guests, this evening we would like to welcome Russell Harrison. He's our Administrator of Instructional Programs with the North Orange County Regional Occupational Program, also known as ROP. He has replaced Kathy Kent and will be working closely with our schools. Mr. Harrison has over 26 years of experience in various educational capacities as he began his career as a classroom teacher in the Norwalk-La Mirada School District and later as a TOSA overseeing reading intervention. Russell became a middle school teacher at Beechwood Elementary in Fullerton School District and served as the IB coordinator. Mr. Harrison has also served as the assistant principal of Richmond Elementary in FSD and principal in Lake Elsinore, as well as Buena Park. Most recently, Russell served as the chief personnel officer with the Buena Park School District, where he provided oversight for recruitment, onboarding, evaluation, and workplace safety for all teachers and classified staff. Russell and his wife Heidi, of 28 years, share a passion for hiking locally and throughout the Sierras. His own 3 children attended our high schools within Fullerton Joint Union High School District, and each of them enjoyed several CTE courses, career technical education courses, during their educational years. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Russell Harrison.
Briefly, let me just share what a privilege it is to be coming aboard with North Orange County ROP. I've had an opportunity to be out to each of our classrooms already. I have seen amazing, engaging work going on with students. To see them fostered in their own particular pursuit of their passion area, to connect in a career pathway is a powerful piece, and I'm very impressed with what our instructors are doing in those classrooms as well. It's been a pleasure to either meet with our principals or have scheduled meetings to meet with the rest of our principals in the coming week, and I'm very pleased to be aboard. Thank you so much to North Orange County ROP for entrusting me with this. My battery is being recharged as I reconnect with students, with teachers, and with administrators on sites, seeing the beauty of students connect with their own passion for learning. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I would like to invite Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Service to Dr. Carl Zener to lead us in the next recognitions.
Thank you, President Calhoun, members of the board, and Dr. McLaughlin. This is a very special month, as January is School Board Recognition Month, and Fullerton Joint Union High School District is proud to join more than 1,000 local educational agencies in the state, recognizing the contribution of board members during School Board Member Recognition Month. As schools work to accelerate learning and support student wellness, board members play a key role in setting the foundation, policies, and priorities to support optimal student outcomes. School boards play a crucial and often overlooked role in the support of students and families. FJUHSD is proud to observe School Board Recognition Month each January in acknowledgement of the selfless service of school board members who aim to provide a better, safer, and more welcoming learning environments for students in our community each and every day. Thank you to our board members for your outstanding work in serving our district.
Thank you, Dr. Zener. Dr. Calhoun, members of the board. Yes, it is Board Member Appreciation Month, and with little fanfare, but we do want to acknowledge your leadership, your vision, your focus, and the stability you provide to our community in representing the voice of your electorate. It's great to work with you day in and day out. Love your passion for the kids you represent, the families you represent, and your commitment to this district, whether it's been for 40-plus years, for your lifetime in the district as a student, as parents, as working in the district, and then having a husband in the district, but really your commitment to ensuring that we have clear vision and clear focus and stability. That is everything, especially in our world, and it allows us to do the complex work of supporting all of our kids. So with that, we do have a little gift. It's represented in this box. There's a little something to help you sign all of those papers that you have to sign all the time as board members, and a little sweetness in there to just give you a little treat, because sometimes it gets hard in doing the work of the board, and so to lift your spirits, a little C's candy. So thank you for all you do on behalf of the students, family, and staff of FJUHSD. So we're going to pass this along. This is Noel's, so we're just going to pass it all the way down the row. Should be in order. So thank you very much. Dr. Jang. This is Foley.
Crowley. This is Miss Joanne's. This is Miss Pucci's.
And Dr. Jang.
Dr. Calhoun.
I'm sorry, Dr. Calhoun.
Okay, you're
Yeah, see that? Look at-
He should
I
be
was
the
I was
president.
programmed. I was programmed. So thank you again, and happy Board Member Appreciation Month. So thank you.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. Thank you. Let's see. I'm moving. Not on the agenda, individuals who filled out a speaker request form will be invited to the podium when their name is read. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person and 30 minutes per topic. To the podium, call to the podium, Steve Blunt. Would you come to the podium, please, Steve?
You know my name?
Yes, Steve, I do.
I'm Stephen T. Blount. You can count on Blount to come through for you. I'm a trustee with the North Orange County Community College District for 9 years now. Before that, I was a trustee with Cypress School District, and I'm also on the board of directors of the Cypress College Foundation. And we meet twice a month, second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday. And we're not meeting this Tuesday, so I thought I'd come here and congratulate my close friend, Vicki Calhoun, on being elected president of this board. And I couldn't be happier that she's been given this opportunity to run the meetings.
Thanks, Steve.
When I was a president of the Cypress School District, I ran meetings like with an iron fist because I was a controller for a very successful industry-leading manufacturer, and before that I was a bankruptcy consultant. So I demonstrated that when I ran the meetings at Cypress School District as president. And at least one board member thought, yeah, you make board meetings go by fast, because you're so efficient. And staff appreciated it too. But I'm glad to see Vicki doing a softer approach to board meetings and smiling a lot this evening. So congratulations. And yeah, we've gone to the bond process, and there's 2 other thirds to the problem. That's your bond rating and then having to sell it, and 252 other districts ran bond measures, and you got to get in line. And if you make the interest rate too high to sell them, the taxpayer has to pay more because your property tax assessment won't allow you paying off that high interest. If you make it too low, other people will beat you. So good luck, but I think you can manage it very well. And lastly, without the timer, everybody there averaged 3 minutes. One of you ran over 3 minutes, but 2 of you had 2 minutes, and that's how I control things, And as opposed to North Orange, where they allowed board members are allowed 3 minutes, and they got an alarm that would, just shatter your bones. It's like whoa, and that was it. So congratulations. It's good to see a district run like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Caleb Yo, please come to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President Calhoun, Superintendent McLaughlin, and esteemed members of the board. My name is Caleb Yu, and I am a proud sophomore of Troy High School. I'm a part of the California Youth Climate Policy Leadership Program, and I'm here today to talk to you about climate change, or more specifically, climate education. As the world around us changes rapidly, educating future generations about the impacts of climate change is becoming more and more urgent. What's more is that most students today agree. In a recent survey I conducted throughout our district, about 93% of students agreed that climate change affects us at some point in our lives, whether past, present, or future. And almost 90% of students believe that climate change is an important topic to discuss in classrooms. Additionally, 70% of students do not think schools that they have been to took appropriate measures in educating children on climate change. What this calls for is change within our district's education system. Specifically, we can incorporate more comprehensive climate change education into the curriculum, adopt sustainable practices in school operations, and engage students and the community in climate action initiatives. In the years that I have attended school here, I've seen evidence of how hard the school district works to support children and their needs. So I'm requesting that you, the school board, take the first step by creating a resolution that promotes better education on climate change. Your students' futures are in your hands. Please take this into consideration. Finally, I'd like to thank all of the school board members for being so receptive and eager to my remarks. It's definitely made this part of the process a lot easier. All right, thank you and good night.
Okay, Nico, can you come to the podium, please?
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. Members of the board, you know, if you had told me 21 years ago when I first walked through those doors into here, a guest of someone I consider to be like Dr. Scambray, a great superintendent, a non-charlatan superintendent, I was a guest of Dr. Escalante. And Dr. Escalante instilled in me and the young men that were there that night the importance of giving back to students who are in situations that maybe aren't the best. And I could go on and on about that, but I got 3 minutes. But it inspired me. Of course, that came 21 years later, but hey, I'm here now. So I'm going to open with this. I'm going to open with an email that I'm going to leave for you. Well, first, all of the documents that I've been requesting and all the documents in here are available to anyone to the public. It's tinyurl.com/FJUHSD-board. So anyone can get those documents. I've got in there Dr. McLaughlin's expense reimbursements. I've got the credit card statements for the district. It's fantastic. So check it out if you would like to. With respect to the agriculture program, first I'm going to read this, and I'm going to leave this with the board. This is an email I got in December of 2021 when I was working up there. And it was a teacher purchasing books for her class with petty cash. So she was going out using her own money to buy books for her classrooms. These are like, you know, Harry Potter, Of Mice and Men. So you have that on one end, right? Then you have the extreme opposite end, which is the agriculture program. They can buy whatever they want. And so I just want to share with you some of the stranger things that I saw during my time in agriculture. First of all, there were fifth-year students. I didn't know that was a thing in high school. Fifth-year ag students at Sunny Hills High School, Sonora, and Buena Park High School. That one threw me for a loop. There was an agriculture teacher whose mother-in-law was charged with civil RICO for embezzling money from her employer, Suzuki Motors, over in Brea. And as it turns out, she was a good friend of Phil Pasha. And during the time that she was embezzling money from her employer, she was buying a whole lot of meat from this district. So she would go to the Orange County Fair and she would purchase all kinds of meat and buy add-ons for the kids. At the same time, she was embezzling money. She's in jail right now. That's quite a nexus. And as far as this situation, that'll be settled in court.
Thank you. Thank you for your thoughtful comments. Non-agenda items may not be acted on during the meeting nor discussed by the board. If you would like further information, please contact us through the district website or contact staff members who will be happy to talk to you and follow up with the information. Does the superintendent have any information he would like to share?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Calhoun, members of the board, and this is really for the audience. We've added another agenda item to our agenda regarding superintendent comments following public comments, and an opportunity for me to clarify any information for the board or to direct some of our open public comments to district staff. For example, Caleb, who we lost, okay. He's okay. So Caleb, we do know that Caleb's reached out to us directly, and he's been in contact with Dr. Zener, and he has some questions, and so we're going to be following up with him. And so from now on, as new information comes forward in public comments, this gives us the opportunity to clarify again for the board and the community information that comes forward. And that's all my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. 12.1. Community member agenda items. Education Code 35145.5 allows members of the public to place items on the board agenda. Pursuant to the District Board Policy 9323, construction of the agenda, member of the public requesting that an item be placed on the agenda must submit the item to the superintendent's office in writing. The superintendent shall determine the characterization of the item, its placement on the agenda, and whether it's within the board's jurisdiction. Request items by community members are listed below for discussion.
So tonight, Dr. Calhoun, that item is Measure L, and we do have one public comment card.
Okay. Nigo, please come to the podium, please.
You know, Dr. Calhoun, members of the board, I prepared comments, but I think at a certain point, you're going to do what you're going to do. Measure L had some of the most contradicting information in the literature. If I was Mrs. Bucci, I wouldn't sign whatever she has to sign later tonight. And it's just unfortunate. It feels like deja vu. It feels like circa 2014, 2015, where we had a situation where a bond got passed, but Dr. or whatever his name was, Giacaris, he wasn't around to do the bond measure. And that's because we had some financial issues, an $18 million that just showed up out of nowhere. We had budget issues. So it's kind of like deja vu. I don't know how the district is going to issue bonds successfully when the last 3 years of financial statements have been late. Today's are late. So good luck. Good luck.
Before the board considers this item, I would like to call on Superintendent Dr. Steve McLaughlin to see if there is any additional information from district staff members.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. Members of the board, as you're aware and was mentioned earlier tonight, we did spend about an hour on Measure L during our study session prior to the board meeting. Additionally, this has been on the agenda multiple times. Mr. Hernandez, I don't know, for the last 2 years, more or less, with respects to our facilities project and lead up to the bond. And so we're happy to provide any additional information that the board may request.
Is there a request to direct the superintendent or district staff to provide any additional information or take any additional action other than a plan already provided for Measure L? Okay. Hearing no direction, we will move on to the next item. Education Assessment Service. New basic books list revision for 2025-26. Addendum 1. I would like to call Assistant Superintendent of Education Assessment, Sylvia Dr. Kaufman, sorry, Dr. Kaufman, I said Sylvia and Dr. Kaufman, sorry about that, to present the new basic textbook list provision for 25-26.
Prior to your comments, Dr. Calhoun, there is a public comment card.
Oh, okay. Hi, Nico. Come on up to the podium, please.
Yeah, at some point you just got to throw in the towel because nothing's going to change. Again, I did have a question. The documents are supposedly up in Ed Services. And again, if you require the assistance of a wheelchair, forearm crutches, or anything, how do you get up those stairs? And that's not the only thing up there that you need to go up the stairs for. Transcripts are up there too. If the student utilizes, for example, a wheelchair, how do you get up there? So that's my only comment.
Dr. Kaufman, before you comment, this has come up a couple times, so as the board's aware and district staff's aware and Mr. Cardenas is aware because he worked here, we do have elevator access on both sides of our district office to accommodate anyone that may need elevator access to our top floors. So just a point of clarification.
Okay.
Dr. Kaufman?
Dr. Kaufman, please.
Thank you, President Calhoun, members of the board, and guests. This evening for second reading and adoption, the child development textbooks on the attached list are proposed for addition to the basic textbook list effective for the 25-26 school year. The textbooks have been reviewed by the teachers and submitted to department leaders for evaluation. The members of the appropriate curriculum committees and administrative council have completed evaluation forms indicating that the books have been properly reviewed. The proposed additions to the basic textbooks list were presented at the December 10, 2024 board meeting for first reading and information and have since been on display in the District Education and Assessment Services Office for review and comments. To date, no comments have been received. It is recommended that the child development basic textbooks on the attached list be adopted for use in the district effective for the 25-26 school year. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like, is there a motion to adopt the new basic textbook list revision 25-26?
I move.
Okay, you got it.
Joanne.
Any discussion? Noel, would you like to cast a preferential vote?
I approve.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. It's 4-0. Okay, 12.2.2, Prop 28 informational update. Nico, can you come up and to the podium, please?
Thank you. Like I said, at some point you just got to throw in the towel because, yeah. So I went on the state's website and I pulled down the Prop 28 Arts and Music in School for this district. And the strangest thing happened. The name that comes up under Fullerton Joint is for Pomona Elementary, which is a school in Newport Mesa Unified School District. And then, so there's that. But then if you go to the last report for the 2023-2024 funding indicated the district hadn't spent any. So now we're in 24-25, you're getting another apportionment. How is it that you guys can't spend this one, but now you're gonna get additional money? So what I did was I printed out how this actually works for the board, and I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it here. It talks about the 80-20 split, all kinds of stuff. So if you don't spend it by a certain time, it goes back to the state. So here's that, but again, it's very weird to go onto the California Department of Education website and find the school's apportionment with Pomona Elementary on it.
I would like to call on the Assistant Superintendent Education and Assessment Service, Dr. Sylvia Kaufman, and Director of Educational Service, Dr. Joshua Porter, to present a brief overview of Proposition 28.
Good evening. President Calhoun, members of the board, and guests. As board members may be aware, on November 8th, 2022, California voters approved Proposition 28, the Arts and Music Schools AMS Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act. The measure required the state to establish a new, ongoing program supporting arts instruction in schools. The districts are required to ensure that at least 80% of the funds are used to employ staff to provide arts education program instruction. The remaining funds must be used for training, supplies, materials, and arts educational partnership programs. Our district took a thoughtful approach over the past year to gain clarity on the program parameters, audit expectations, and better understand how schools could tailor their programs to meet the needs of all its students. This evening, our Director of Ed Services, Dr. Porter, and our teacher on special assignment, Artosa, Michael Despars, will provide an overview of the collaboration that took place to create our district strategic arts plan, provide insight into Prop 28, briefly describe the site planning that took place and the next steps. Back in 2015, FJUHSD was one of 3 districts to receive a grant. We focused on developing an art plan. We gathered stakeholder feedback, including teachers, parents, community members, and district administration. Our plan was completed in 2016. In 2022, our curriculum team revisited this plan and refined the mission and vision. We updated the needs in the 5 strategic areas. And in 2024, we met with our visual and performing arts teachers to review this plan and identified areas of growth within our current programs. This is the vision of our district arts. FJUHSD is a destination arts district that inspires all students to explore and celebrate the transformative power of the arts. This year, our team took that 55-page plan and created a 1-page summary so that we could highlight the 5 strategic areas of focus. Each of these areas has a clearly articulated goal, starting with course access. The next focuses on aligning our courses with the state frameworks and standards. There is an emphasis on professional development, ensuring we have instructional materials for all students, and finally, developing and enhancing our partnerships. All 5 of these goals have components that ensure we are engaging minds, building futures, and uniting communities. For example, arts programs are inherently focused on uniting communities as the goal of our programs, that is, that final showcase. By increasing course access, we are providing more opportunities to bring our communities together. In the 23-24 school year, 6,136 students participated in one of our 25 visual and performing arts courses. Across the district, we have 49 visual and performing arts educators offering 213 sections of these various courses. Currently, 166 of our students with disabilities are enrolled in a visual and performing arts course. That's approximately 13%. And 648, about 57% approximately, of our English learners have met the fine arts requirements. And now, I would like to invite Dr. Porter to share more information about Prop 28 funding.
Thank you. President Calhoun, members of the board, Dr. McLaughlin. In this section of our presentation, I'll provide a concise overview of Prop 28, and also known as the Arts and Music and Funding and Schools Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act. I will cover approved expenditures and give an overview of how the funds are allocated. Following that, Michael Despars will discuss our efforts in assisting schools to develop comprehensive plans for utilizing Prop 28 funds effectively. As the board is aware, Prop 28 was approved in the fall of 2022 with the first notice of funding in 23-24 school year. 1% of the state's education budget was allocated to the arts programs through this proposition. This funding model is based on student enrollment, with more funds allocated to schools for more students with higher need. It was backed by educators, our community, and it provides opportunities for schools to develop culturally relevant and inclusive arts programs. The total funds allocated for the 23-24 school year amounts to $2,052,598. These funds, which will be adjusted based on enrollment changes, is ongoing and will be distributed annually to all sites. Unlike grant funds, which require an expenditure plan to be developed and approved before applying for funds, this allocation is part of an ongoing budget, and plans are developed based on the amount allocated to each site to meet their needs. Schools have been given 3 years to develop plans, implement that plan, and spend each year's allocation. When developing these plans, the state provided the following guidance. We have to expand, enhance, or supplement our art programs. It's important and it's mandated that these funds not supplant existing state and federal funding used to support the arts programs. More importantly, local agencies were tasked with developing and implementing their own plans. The funding allocation is divided into two distinct areas. 80% is designated for personnel and cannot be used for any other purpose. The remaining 20% is allocated for supplies, materials, and training and other needs. This 20% also includes a 1% administrative cost built into the funding model developed by the state. Overall, here's what the budget breakdown will look like for Fullerton Joint Union High School District based on the total 23-24 allocation. Approximately $1.6 million will be allocated to employment, with just under $400,000 for training supplies materials. Before I invite Michael Despars to discuss how Fullerton is assisting sites with the planning process, we wanted to share a breakdown of the $2 million allocation by site. It's important to note that while sites will receive an annual allocation, these allocations will fluctuate based on enrollment. The state may also allocate additional funds to sites based on the number of students enrolled who are currently economically disadvantaged. And with that, Michael.
Thank you very much, President Calhoun, board members, and Dr. McLaughlin, and esteemed guests. We received a Boeing grant in 2015 to develop a strategic arts plan. A group of stakeholders was assembled to develop this plan, including FJUHSD site department leads, VAPA teachers, administrators, parents, and community partners, including Steve Venz, who served as the Orange County Department of Education Visual and Performing Arts Coordinator, Cheryl Tecker, La Habra City School District Director of Programs and Assessment, and Laura Lynn Eschner, Fullerton School District's VAPA Coordinator. Since its development, we have been using this plan as a guide to make decisions about the arts. After the passing of Prop 28 in 2022, it became apparent that we needed to review our goals and to begin to update the plan to address the advancement in arts instruction and to guide our Prop 28 planning and spending. This began under the leadership of former VAPA TOSA Maggie Crail. During the process, we gathered stakeholders together through our set days to review plans, create goals, create new actionable items, and set a timeline that would take us through 2028. We did this with the support of all district VAPA educators and educational services. I am uniquely positioned to help develop this plan because of my work with the California Educational Theater Association, who was part of the statewide plan and who worked with arts partners and collaborated to rally and pass and implement Prop 28. And I was president of that organization at the time. The state has given us 3 years to develop this plan, and we are on track to meet this deadline as we are currently in year 2. It is important to remember that the money was given to our district under the directive that we would develop a plan that supports access to arts for all students, which is where our focus has been over the last 2 years. After updating our arts plan, we began to develop a needs assessment for each VAPA program to outline potential spending utilizing our Prop 28 funds through the lens of the strategic arts plan. Our set days provided time for our VAPA professional learning community to meet and evaluate programs and program needs. Through this process, we identified gaps in access and are developing plans to open access with the support of this funding. In 24-25, we analyzed and reviewed the state guidelines to ensure our district's compliance with state law and led several training sessions with site admin to help guide the development of their site plans. Since 2015, over 100 stakeholders have given input, and we continue to involve our communities through the approval of these Prop 28 plans by the School Site Council later this year. We have been supporting sites with their planning by reviewing the updated FJUHSD Strategic Arts Plan, analyzing the data review of arts programs, identifying areas of focus on each site, and reviewing VAPA courses developed after the 22-23 school year. We began to align this plan with the School Plan for Student Achievement, the SIPSA, and the district goals. Finally, we will provide a plan to be reviewed by School Site Council at each site. In preparation for Prop 28 plans, we develop a one-page planning sheet that outlined the narrative of the law, relevant site VAPA data, each site's funding allocation, a timeline for plan completions, and some recommendations that fit within the Strategic Arts Plan's actionable items. The recommendations included the following identified areas of focus, which includes access to the arts by our students with disabilities, our EL students, and our Hispanic Latino students. The review and implementation of arts pathways, including the further development of CTE and dual enrollment opportunities, the development of new courses, and opportunities for cross-curricular arts collaboration, professional development for educators, extended learning opportunities for students, and robust feeder school articulation. We want to make sure that our sites have a comprehensive understanding of their arts programs, their gaps, and the opportunities that this money does provide. Through this process of developing an arts plan and assessment of our current programs, we were able to identify a need for a full-time TOSA to support educators and students, not only through curriculum and instruction, but the development of these Prop 28 plans. And furthermore, through our needs assessment, it became apparent that every site wanted access to a theater technician to support their VAPA students and programming. We were able to hire two individuals, Zoe Kinney and Nathan Vestry, to support the programs at Sonora, Troy, Sunny Hills, and Buena Park, as Fullerton and La Habra had this support for their larger auditoriums. We realized that at the end of this hiring process, both of these individuals are alum of FJUHSD. Zoe Kinney is a former La Habra grad, and Nathan Vestry is a grad of Fullerton Union. This is proof that we're building communities where former students will come back to support the next generation of student artists. And now I will pass it over to Dr. Porter to talk about our next steps.
Being a former La Habra High grad, I have to say that's great news to hear myself. So, as a part of the planning process, we wanted to share with the board that we have a very distinct timeline, and we worked with our site administration to make sure that this timeline would work and provided plenty of support and ongoing support as they work through this. This year, we developed this calendar for our sites to follow and ensures that they are on track to spend these funds. Remember, first year, as a reminder, we reviewed our FJUHSD art plan and conducted a needs assessment. This year, where we currently are, a training plan was developed to support sites and ensure that they start the hiring process for new positions. In year three, the balance of the 23-24 Prop 28 allocations will be fully funded, and each site will revisit their Prop 28 plans when they visit their school site or their site plan for student achievement. This process will continue every year thereafter. Currently, this is where we are in the process, and we expect that all of our plans, the first drafts are starting to roll through our office right now. By February 2025, the plans will be complete for the 23-24 allocation. In spring of 2025, we will begin spending the 23-24 allocation. And then in August of 2025, the new allocation of the 24-25 will be provided to sites. And in fall, all sites will update their plans with the 24-25 allocation. As part of the planning process to ensure we're not supplanting funds, we developed a position control worksheet for sites to use when adding a position using Prop 28 funds. This will become important as we prepare for our annual report to the state on new positions that we add. So in summary, each site will receive an annual allocation of Prop 28 funds. Each site has 3 years to spend these funds. We expect the first draft of these plans to be completed this month, articulating a budget breakdown by 80% of personnel costs and 19% of materials and supplies. And I'd like to invite Dr. Coffin back up to close us out.
And as a Coyote alum, very proud myself. As a district, we have some requirements, and we will be required to include Prop 28 as part of our annual review by our auditors. As we add new positions, we will need to ensure that only positions funded beginning with the 23-24 school year are funded by Prop 28. And at the end of each year, by July 31st, as a district, we will report out the number of funded positions to the state. In summary, we are in a great place as we have a district strategic arts plan. We will have Prop 28 site plans, annual allocation for sites, planning and spending timelines, a full-time arts TOSA, support for all theaters, annual reporting process, and it is exciting to know we have much more to come. With this concludes our report, but we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Porter, and Mr. Despar. Thank you. Would the board members have any questions? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Valley.
Thank you very much. Like most of us, I have direct experience as a high school art student, and I'm very excited to see this money flowing. So the first question is, there was an earlier state grant for VAPA, is that correct? So the reason I ask is sometimes I think there's some confusion out there in the community about a one-time grant versus this ongoing money. So could you take just like a minute to explain the difference there?
Yeah, the Music and Arts Block Grant is probably what I think we're referring to. It's a one-time fund. Oftentimes, those are funds that are allocated for a specific purpose and very delineated. This is money for you to spend. They may only be restricted simply by the cohort of students or programs that they're spent on, with little guidance. And basically, let's make your programs better to support your students. Or sometimes they can be very specific as to what they're for. This particular funding model the money came to us first, and we had to develop a plan once the money was funded due to the unknown allocation amount that we would be receiving based on our enrollment. Some sites received more money because they had a higher percentage of students who were economically disadvantaged. In addition to that, this funding model is specific to an 80% personnel expenditure, which creates a significant amount of complications. I think I spent about an hour and a half with personnel this afternoon just brainstorming what the recommendations are coming through and how we process those. And we're just in that phase of making sure we do it right because the state has a lot of laws and regulations. We have a great relationship with our unions. We want to make sure that we do this right and that when we hire these positions, it's something that we can sustain moving forward over the years to come.
Sounds good.
Sorry, Mrs.
Go
Foley.
ahead.
Just to extend on that, and I know Mr. Hernandez is going to want me to, so I'm going to beat him to the punch. Because the original grant was the Arts Music Discretionary Block Grant, which allows a little more expansive utilization of those one-time dollars.
And those were spent.
And those have been spent and allocated, which
That was my
the board
follow-up.
allocated both to cover PERS and STIRS contributions, which is within the legal scope of that block grant. But we also did allocate specific one-time dollars to each of our sites during that plan. And so those were one-time dollars, but I know Mr. Hernandez over there, I see him inching up, and he wanted to make sure there was discretionary block grant, because there was a piece of it dedicated or focused on arts, but it really was intended from the state to be discretionary to cover what we need at a school district. So we authorized that, and where Mr. Porter says this is an ongoing funding source specific to the arts with an 80% staffing allocation for arts specifically, that's going to be ongoing, and which is why they have this plan, and a great TOSA with a great picture, Mr. Despars. So
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure the public was aware of that distinction because I think that because they came relatively close together in time, there was a great deal of confusion about which was which and what was spent. Quick follow-up on the spending. So I noticed, for example, next school year, 25-26, we're spending the 24-25 money, and that's because we have 3 years to do the planning, but we're ahead of the curve in terms of planning, so we're able to start spending the money sooner. Is that accurate?
Once we're able to get the positions approved and we follow the process, they can be hired on. There's going to be some timeline restriction or constraints because of new courses being added, don't typically get added at the third quarter within a school year. Some of the personnel that may be related to a short-term assignment or more of a classified type position that could be implemented sooner if we're able to, those will start. And it is going to be a tiered process. So for right now, the 23-24 allocation is currently funding the last part of our TOSA, the 0.4 portion of that, as well as the 2 new theater technicians. So that will be pulled back, and then each year it'll be carried over. But we're going to have sites plan as if it's a 23-24 ongoing always, so we always have that buffer, and we'll always be ahead of the curve.
Gotcha. So it's perfectly acceptable under the law to use 23-24 money for 24-25 or rolling forward.
It's actually articulated clearly in there that we have the 3 years to,
And finally,
and
I'm-
encourage us to spend
oh, I'm
the plan.
sorry, I didn't mean to
Sorry, no,
cut
no,
you
that
off.
was my fault.
Dr. Porter. Finally, I'm glad to hear you acknowledge the challenge of the 80% ratio to the 20%. My niece is a vocal music teacher in Garden Grove Unified, similar to our district, is always fully funded the arts, and now they're trying to figure out exactly, like you said, that strategic approach to figuring out the needs on each campus and how to engage more of our students, perhaps students who didn't feel the arts were accessible to them. And I really appreciate that because I know that is a big hurdle. She and I happen to be talking about it over the holidays. So thank you for all your work in this. Really appreciate it and for answering my questions.
Absolutely. Please send her to mine and Michael's way. We'd love to hear some of her feedback as well. So.
Ms. Pucci?
I think you clarified the one question that I had, which you're working on a 3-year plan, but this is ongoing money. So if there are things that are put in place within this 3-year cycle, the money will be there for future. I am not a singer, dancer, or actor, but I am a patron of the arts. And one of the joys of being a board member is when I get invitations to the performances that take place at our schools. The students are amazing and our teachers as well. And I felt better that Michael Desbars has been involved in the planning, I think, at the state level, because I feel a little bit better about it than I did before. But this reminds me of so much that comes from Sacramento. I've heard for many years people say, we've got to bring back the arts in the schools. And I'm thinking, where have you been? You know, we've got the arts in the schools. I hear them say, we've got to bring back, well, they don't call it CTE, but, you know, whatever it's called in the past. And I'm thinking, where have you been? You know, we do have this in the schools. So our Sacramento people, I think, but again, since you've been there, I feel better, have heard these people say, we don't have any arts, we don't have any CTE, and therefore we're going to give you all this money. We better need it before we put things in place. I guess that's what I'm saying. In other words, we have, our schedule is kind of a demand schedule. The students sign up for what they want to take, and someone, I think, Michael, you mentioned available for all students. It'd be wonderful if all students would take advantage of some piece of this arts program. I don't know how you accomplish that, but that certainly would require additional funds. But I guess I'm just sort of telling you what's going through my mind. But I trust with you guys in charge of this planning and others that we'll do the right thing and it'll be good for kids. So thank you for letting me spout about Sacramento.
And I just want to say that I am an artist, and I wouldn't have made it without it. So I appreciate the arts in all the high schools, and it took me all over the world singing for the Peppers, Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I know how beneficial it is, and I really do appreciate you, Michael, for really, really putting these arts in all the schools. And in all forms of art, I just think it's important. So thank you very, very much, you guys. Move on. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay. 12.4, Business Services, report on audit of financial statements and supplementary information, including reports on compliance for fiscal year 23-24. I would like to call on...
Dr. Cohen, sorry to interrupt. We do have a public comment card.
Oh, we do. Okay, here we go. Nico, can you please come to the podium, please?
Thanks, Dr. Calhoun. Members of the board, I almost left, but I'm here. So the report is late for the 3rd year in a row. Here's the ed code, 41020. It was due to the State Controller's Office, the California Department of Education, and the Orange County Superintendent of Schools by the 16th. So if it hasn't been sent, then it's late. I know it's dated the 16th, but the agenda item says that CLA will submit it subsequent to your review. So I'm sure Dr. McLaughlin will argue that point. So I want to talk about what the audit is and the report and what it isn't. I think sometimes you view it as one report that was completely signed off on by the auditor, and that's not the case. And so if you look at the independent auditor's report, it's pages 1 through 4. With regard to management discussion and analysis, budget comparison information, schedule of changes in total OPEB, related ratios, district proportionate share of OPEB, and the schedule of district's proportionate share of net pension liability, and schedule of district contributions is listed in the table of contents, presented, et cetera, the auditor writes, we do not express an opinion or provide any assurance on the information because the limited procedures do not provide us with sufficient evidence to express an opinion or provide an assurance, any assurance. So the whole A++ thing, like, let's be done with that. Going on, other reporting requirements. The purpose of that report, et cetera, and it says again, they don't express an opinion on the district's internal controls. So again, if we move on to board policy 3460, the board is the governing board to ensure the audit report contains all the information required by law and governmental GASB, Government Accounting Standards Board. Well, I don't see GASB 100 or 101 listed in the report. So in prior reports, when a new GASB would come out, for example, 87, I think was leases, it's usually in the report that the district has adopted that. I don't see it in there. Maybe I missed it. I mean, I missed an elevator, so it's entirely possible that I missed it in the report. But in any event, and I'm glad to see that the Education Foundation is back because it was taken out the second year, but it is in there this time. Unfortunately, the PTA, PTO booster clubs was still removed. So, you know, a foundation, it is just a real pain.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to call on Assistant Superintendent of Business Service, Mr. Ruben Hernandez, to present information on the report on audit of financial statements and supplementary information, including reports on compliance for the fiscal year of 23-24.
Thank you, and good evening, President Calhoun, members of the board, Dr. McLaughlin, and community. In accordance with Education Code 41020, the district contracts annually with an independent certified public accounting firm. The board approved Clifton Larson Allen LLP, also known as CLA, to perform the 2023-2024 fiscal year audit. The annual report reviews the audit of a financial statement and supplementary information, including reports on compliance. And one of the more significant purposes of this audit is to verify the accuracy of the unaudited actuals financial report, which was board approved back in September 2024. The audit of the financial statement report was sent to the County Office of Education, Department of Education, and the State Controller, and met the deadline as required by state law, which was December 16th this year due to December 15th landing on the weekend. Under state law, the report on the audit of financial statements are neither approved, accepted, or rejected, but merely received by the district. And by reviewing this report, the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt of this report and no action is required. I would like to invite Gemma Pashinsky and Jonathan Pena to the podium to provide us with the results of the 23-24 audit for both the audit of financial statements and Measure I.
Thank you, Ruben. Good evening, everybody. Superintendent McLaughlin, Board President Calhoun, members of the board, and others. I am here to represent Clifton Larson Allen, your public accounting firm, along with John Pena, who worked on the audit as well. I want to start with just giving a little framework in terms of the audit. I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with process, but we do spend quite a bit of time getting an understanding of the operations of the organization. That helps us design the tests that we're going to perform. We can't obviously look at every transaction, but we do obtain evidence in order to form that opinion based on a risk assessment, based on those conversations with different individuals within the organization, and following our professional standards. And so real important to understand that as we go through the process, we follow those specific standards. So in terms of the financial report, when you look at page 1, that is where we've issued our opinion, and that's really our responsibility. The financial statements are district's responsibility. We do work with the district in preparing this document, which is, very different presentation than what you're used to when you're on audited actuals. But they ultimately take responsibility. Our role is to issue an opinion. And so on page 1, you'll see we've issued an unmodified opinion. And so for the areas of the audit that the opinion covers, because not all areas are covered by the opinion, we've issued an unmodified opinion. And that's the best opinion we can render. And that means that an informed reader, somebody who is familiar with financial statements, can make decisions based on that financial report. There are some areas of the report under government standards, reporting standards, that are not covered by the opinion, and that's prescribed by those standards. And you can read that. That's all outlined clearly within the letter that we've issued, pages 1 through 4. All right, so this year there were no adjustments to the financial statements. So that means that the unaudited actuals that were presented to you in September, even though the format's very different, it's the same information that was presented to you at that point in time. There was one post-closing entry, so you went through a transition from my understanding, and I have to say, I am standing in for Taylor, who is your principal or your assigning director who was responsible for the audit this year. I've been on this project a number of years ago, and I've worked on some special projects, but he was not able to make it this evening, so I'm standing in for him. But my understanding is that you had made some changes to your workers' compensation program, and so there was a final entry that was needed to close out that old workers' comp incurred but not reported, and so that's what you see in there. Also, as part of the audit process, we are not giving an opinion on your internal control. That's not our role. We want to gain an understanding of controls, and if we come across something in that process, then we'll report that to you if it meets the criteria for reporting, and there's different levels that we consider based on the situation. But there were no current year findings related to the financial statements. So no internal control issues or areas of non-compliance that would impact the financial report. Let's see. I'm going to pass it on now to, and you can see that report on page 110. And that's where we discuss kind of related to the financial report, are there internal control matters? So I'm going to pass it on to John. He's going to talk about the federal portion of the audit as well as the state portion of the audit.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent McLaughlin. So I participate largely in the, the federal and state compliance sections. This year, we tested the major programs, the Child Nutrition Cluster and the Education Stabilization Fund. And we have no reportable non-compliance, no material weaknesses, or significant deficiencies in internal control over compliance to report. One prior year finding that was implemented, this is not a current year finding, was related to the ESF federal award, where some projects did not acquire prior approval for some construction projects. This year we tested, and they had more there were more construction-related projects, and every project tested did acquire the prior approval. For the report on state compliance, we also have no reportable non-compliance, no material weaknesses, or significant deficiencies in internal control over compliance.
Thank you. And you can see more information about the results of the federal audit and the state audit if you look in the report. The state areas that are required to be tested are listed on page 117, and a recap of the programs we tested for federal compliance, Child Nutrition Cluster, and ESF funds are on page 120, so you can see kind of the recap of the results there. I'll go ahead and just mention on Measure I, we perform a financial and performance audit for that funding. So it's basically taking that particular fund that houses the money that you're using from that measure. And so you'll see that report that should mirror your unaudited actuals for that fund. And then the performance report is really about how you're spending the money. Is it appropriate? Does it meet what the voters had approved in the bond measure? And so we look at a percentage of those expenditures to see that they are in compliance. We tested 6.7 million out of the 11 million of non-salary related expenditures, and then we tested 100% on the salaries and benefit expenses, and we had no issues. It's a clean report. There were no reportable items or non-compliance. So again, also a clean report, so just speaks to good controls, good processes in place, and your team doing a good job. So I'm happy to take any questions, or John, depending on what it is. I might pass it to him.
Chester, would you like to ask a question? How about, no? No. Questions? Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Enjoy your evening. Take care.
12.15 Administrative Services. I would like to call on Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Service, Dr. Carl Zinner.
Thank you, President Calhoun, members of the board, and Dr. McLaughlin. Per the Williams settlement, it is required that a quarterly report is made to the Board of Trustees during a meeting of the board with regard to the number of complaints and nature of the resolutions to the complaints received by the schools in the district. There have been no Williams settlement complaints during the second period of reporting. Per the Williams settlement law, a report will be filed with the Orange County Department of Education. This will keep the district in compliance with the requirements of the law. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Zinger. Does anybody have any question on the board? Okay, thank you. 10.5.2, Communications. I would like to call on Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Service, Dr. Carl Zinner, to give a communication update. This is for the information only, is a non-action item.
Thank you again, President Calhoun, members of the board, and Dr. McLaughlin. Our January newsletter went out last week with the theme Uniting Communities. Inside this month's newsletter, we shared all of our open house dates, our open enrollment flyer, and along with our newest video. Speaking of open house and open enrollment, our open house season kicked off last week at Sonora, and our open enrollment period for 2025 kicked off yesterday and runs through January 31st. To keep everyone informed, we've launched the FJUHSD School Open Enrollment Marketing Campaign. This includes daily posts featuring highlight videos, open enrollment flyers, open house dates, did you know facts, and school advertisements. Stay up to date and discover everything our schools have to offer by subscribing to our newsletter, following us on social media, visiting our website, and checking out our YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing everyone at our open houses. For events, you heard a lot about our arts, so get ready to be inspired by the incredible talent and creativity of our students at two spectacular events. Do not miss the Visual and Performing Arts opening night reception at the beautiful Muckenthal Cultural Center on Thursday, January 30th at 7 p.m. Admissions is free, and the exhibition will run from January 23rd to February 9th. Showcasing stunning artwork from students across all our schools. It's a perfect opportunity to celebrate their creativity in a vibrant setting. Plus, mark your calendar for our District Dance Showcase on Thursday, January 24th at 7 p.m., held in the La Habra High School Performing Arts Center. Tickets are $10 and can be purchased at the VAPA website. This unforgettable evening will feature dynamic and heartfelt performances as our students light up the stage with their passion and talent. Be sure to attend both events and support the arts in our district. With activities, the Student Advisory Council met last month, led by Noel and hosted by La Vista High School. Activity directors, in collaboration with the SAC Advisory Council, have begun planning the next impactful community service project for 2025. And the next Student Advisory Council meeting will be at Sonora High School on Wednesday, February 12th. Finally, before our videos, our thoughts are with those affected by the recent LA wildfires. We understand the challenges this situation brings and extend our deepest sympathy to everyone impacted. The district will be sending an important communication this week to provide helpful resources and support during this difficult time. We encourage you to review this communication, which includes vital information on safety tips, local assistance programs, and ways to stay informed about fire conditions. If you or your loved ones have been directly affected, please do not hesitate to reach out for assistance. We are here to support our community. And finally, we are excited to show our newest 2425 video, Uniting Communities. Please enjoy.
In this school district, I believe that the community has bought into the fact that we are important. Our job is to provide the education that the community demands of its children. All of these young people will eventually become citizens, members of our community or some other community. These children will be the leaders of the future.
Oh, and Matt, listen to this. Miss Sheldon thinks the plate just needs a little bit of work doing.
A lot of what happens in our schools affects the people that live here. I want to continue to be proud of my district and proud of my schools. We historically have sponsored Top 100 and for many years put on the Tri-City track meet. That's another celebration of the youth and their accomplishments in our community.
The district is not just an educational institute. We have many cities, and we're united as a community as one. We need to continue this excitement, this engagement throughout the whole year. As a trustee, what we need is the input from the community to let the trustees know, what are you looking for? Communication with us is how we are going to move our school district forward.
When we talk about kids, right, and we talk about uniting communities, we talk about engaging minds, and then we get to that last piece, right, we're talking about building futures. Building futures as a high school district starts at birth. We don't get these kids until they're 14, 15 years old, but if we are truly uniting communities and doing the good work with partners like this in other school districts, we are representing 35,000 strong.
Does the board have any questions or comments they'd like to share? No? Okay. Consent calendar. Nico, can you come to the podium, please?
Thanks, President Calhoun. Regretting being here, I wish I'd stayed home. So I'll talk about the consent calendar sort of globally, and then I'll cherry pick a few. So it looks like Dr. McLaughlin just did a really good job. It's fantastic. So well done, sir. I know you're in charge of that. So I wonder who paid for those bikes. But anyway,
Mr. Cardenas, again,
excuse me,
we'll pause your
President
time.
Calhoun can interrupt me,
We
but
pause
you
your
can't,
time.
sir.
Actually,
this is not your rodeo.
Actually, I'm a part of this governance team, and so as you've been warned at several occasions, staying on topic is critical, and this is about consent items. So if you'd like to continue your comments, then you would make the comments on the consent items.
Okay.
And stay focused.
Fair enough.
All right, go ahead and
I'll
start.
do my best. School purchase of goods or whatever. Looks like someone's getting an ag program is getting an ultrasound machine, and I was just curious if any of the other programs had ultrasound machines too, because like the career medical program, for example. So I was just curious about that. Transportation, I'm going to end up skipping because the interruptions. I want to stay on task here. Oh, the repeater. So evidently, I don't know if the board actually read this. The district's going to rent a repeater up on Pleasance Peak in Majeska Canyon in case the power goes out. I don't know. That's just what it said. Evidently, it's for like emergency communications. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Notice of completion, I'll skip, as well as the organ. The land surveys, I guess I was just curious why those two were postponed. The Fullerton High School two-story athletic and the Sonora, because it doesn't look like there was anything in the proposal costs submitted or whatever. Multiple firms, Somas, that's a good firm. Utililocate, you definitely don't want to put a shovel in the ground until you figured out where all that stuff is. So good job there. Authorization for multiple firms for geological testing. Again, to my mind, I don't know what these projects are, if they're for future projects that are going to be associated with the bond, but it just seems like maybe you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself. CUPCCA, KN Builders got another one, so good for them. Man, that 5Gs is going a long way. Surplus, I'll skip. Canvassing, I'm going to leave that one alone. That's it for there. As far as human resources, same stuff in human resources, EER. I'm just done with that. The two I'm going to skip. Oh, and then the memorandum for Cal Baptist. So Cal Baptist is a fantastic college, and it's really nice of them to give this 20% discount. And again, very generous. However, that's a very expensive school. So I looked at the numbers, and it comes out to about, I think per class, it's like still $400 or $500, or $4,000 for the entire semester, and that's like for the online version. So, save your pennies if you're going to utilize that, because that is a very expensive school. It doesn't really seem like a perk. And yeah, that's it. I'll just leave it there.
Thank you. Are there any item board members would like to pull from the consent calendar? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Second. Noel, would you like to cast a preferential vote?
I approve.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Okay, 4-0. Are there any comments from the board?
I have a quick one.
Okay.
Starts off with too much information. I'm having minor foot surgery on Monday, so those of you that have open house and other events past this week, unfortunately, I will not be able to join you, but I wish you the best of luck and Happy New Year.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. Public comments on the closed session agenda items?
There's one comment card.
Nico, can you come to the podium, please?
Thanks, President Calhoun, members of the board. I sympathize, Ms. Foley. I am having surgery next month, and so I won't be at the board meeting, but I know how much that can be disruptive. So I wish you well in that. Is this the superintendent's, what do we call it, his review? Look, here's all I'm going to say. I had prepared comments. I actually spent the most time on those, but here's what I'm going to say. If you think he's doing a good job, if you think he's not overpaid, if you think you haven't had issues, then keep him. It's fine with me, no skin off my nose. However, if he's not done a good job, well, that's a completely different conversation. But, I suspect that everything will be fine. He'll be here tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. So, good luck to you guys. And like I said, I won't have to be here next month and hopefully any month after that because I just kind of throw in the towel. So have a good one.
Thank you. At this time, we will call for public comments for closed session items. Okay, so now we are going to adjourn to a closed session. Thank you.